Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Phenomenal Views. I am your host Nick Smith, and as you know, this is my review for the 5th episode of Gotham. And what another good episode. This series just keeps getting better and better with each episode. Now this episode has a hint at another villain from the Batman Arkham Asylum game and also the comics. Of course, though, this is always hinted with the comics. But anyway, the episode starts off with Bruce as he's once again doing more things, like more detective work, as he's hinting at that there's possibility corruption in Wayne Enterprises. And then all of a sudden, when Alfred's trying to basically get him to get outside, but he hasn't been outside in a while, so he's like, I promise when I'm done with this, I will take a walk. Then we see somebody just walking up and handing this street performer this green drug, which the vial has a pole with snakes wrapped around it. Just wait, this is going to get good. So the guy inhales it, and then all of a sudden he gets super strong. And I know what you guys are instantly thinking at. Super strong, a green drug with snakes wrapped around it? That's right. This episode is a hint about Bane. So like he goes on this rampage, but he's not really hurting anybody. But what's funny is when people inject this drug, they have to have a lot of dairy products, because when they report this to Edward Nygma, after he goes around passing this stuff out into the street, he says that they get this strength because I think it takes like all their calcium or something like that, and it like increases their strength, but they have to get some dairy products, like the stuff that has a lot of calcium in it, but they can't consume enough, and so their body eventually breaks down and it kills them. And this was just such a good episode because we find out that there is now corruption in Wayne Enterprises after Bruce Wayne's parents have died. And it's just, Gotham is just getting worse and worse, but this episode is so good. Now, my only problem with this episode is Selina Kyle is in it, but she's not given anything to do. Her only purpose is for Gordon to run and catch the scene of the crime. That is the only thing that she has done in this episode, and I can already hear fans. I know fans are going to be posting on Facebook, Selina Kyle was in the episode, but she wasn't given anything. She was useless. So I'm sure that's what's going to be going on. But actually, something new about this episode is something that we have not seen before. We have always seen Gordon and Bullock bickering with each other. And this scene, we actually see them actually getting along with each other, building a kind of even more of a partnership than they already are. Like, they always say that, like, when you're partners, you become close. And it honestly looks like they're actually building a friendship out of their partnership. And it was really good to see, like, them actually kind of being friends. And I was like, okay, that is pretty cool. So then after that, we get Fish, who is basically trying to teach her new secret weapon trying to teach her how to sing some opera song, and then later on she tries to teach her how to talk a certain way, and basically like, I'm not your mom, I'm not your mommy, not yet, you haven't earned that yet. So it's just really weird. Now, in this episode also, we get another build-up with Penguin, and I know I say this in every episode, but almost in every single episode, they are building up with Penguin. And in this episode, Maroni is actually threatening. Like in this one, like in all the other episodes, like you see, oh my gosh, this is Maroni. But he hasn't really done anything, but you know he can be threatening. In this, he shows he can be threatening, because when they're trying to figure out how to take down Falcone, just because they are both sharing Arkham, Maroni wants to take Gotham over one part at a time, piece by piece. So then they're wanting to rob a certain part, something that Falcone owns, but they don't know how to do it without getting killed. No, actually, no, it's a casino. I think it's a casino. I think it is a casino. And Penguin's like, he's like, I know somebody who can get you in there. And then this is when he finally accepts the name Penguin. He's like, Maroni's like, Penguin, you don't like that name, do you? He's like, no, sir, no, I don't. And he's like, you know what, you should. He's like, you should, because it suits you. And he eventually does come around to the name in the episode, but then he does. They're like, how do you know so much? He's like, well, it's a very funny story. I used to work for Fish and Falcone. And then Maroni, when he's laughing, he just snaps and slams Penguin's head into the table. And then this is how Jim Gordon gets involved, because they kidnap him, and he's like, look, basically, you're going to tell me a story. If it's not the same story he has told me, that's going to make me unhappy. So one of you all is lying to me, and both of you are going to die. So Gordon basically tells, he's like, Falcone asked me to kill him, but I didn't. I let him live. If I was telling the truth, I wouldn't be. If I wasn't telling the truth, I wouldn't be here. Or he's like, no one knows he's alive. If anyone did, I wouldn't be here. So now he believes Penguin, and then once again, a good build-up for Penguin. And so we do find out that this stuff is called, it's a new drug called Viper. And Edward Nygma explains what this stuff does in the police office, because the whole entire, this guy is now just giving it to random people on the streets, and the police department is overflowing with crazy drugged up induced people. And we see like a woman like going crazy, then all of a sudden her face turns gray, and then she just dies. So then they they go and they find who he used to work for, and what was funny, his boss was Aunt May from The Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, that is freaking awesome. And she tells that his name is Stan, and he used to do minor things like make toothpaste and stuff, but he didn't like what he was doing, so he wanted to pursue other things. And this was a company called, I cannot ever remember the name. It was like Welland or Wayland or Welland or something. I can never remember this company's name, but they're enticed with Wayne Enterprises. So they find out where he learned to become a chemist, and they go and talk to the teacher, and he's like, oh yes, we learned, they discovered what Viper was actually going to be used for. It was a serum that was going to be used to make super soldiers for the army, for the U.S. troops, and which I thought that was very cool. I was like, all right, some troop stuff for the army. But then he found out what they were really wanting to use it for. He went to Bruce's parents, Martha and Thomas Wayne. They shut it down, and once again, these people, the writers of Gotham, are keeping everything enticed with everything is connectable, and that is what is making this such a good show. This is I'm honestly saying this is just as good as Arrow, in my personal opinion. But then when Martha and Thomas Wayne were killed, this company got it remade, and they had him remake it, and instead of being called Viper, the second formula was called Venom. And it honestly, I cannot believe I didn't get it, because at first I thought it was the Titan formula from Arkham Asylum, and then it hit me later on the episode, wait a minute, Viper, Venom, I am an idiot. So then he gives himself the drug, and he tries to take out Bullock and Gordon, and Gordon shoots him in the back, and before he dies, he's basically like, he says something that tells Gordon where they're going, or where Stan is going for his last attack. He's going to this ball where a lot of people who are in Wayne Enterprises, the corrupt people, are going to be. And Alfred even says to Bruce, he's like, we have received an invitation for this, and you need to go there, and I said that you would. And he's like, okay, awesome, I'll go. And just with one of my favorite parts about this episode is right before the end, Bruce is still doing his detective work. Alfred just comes into the den, grabs a file, and starts helping Bruce. And I was like, yes, that is a perfect way to end that segment, because it is building to the fact that Alfred is starting to accept Bruce for what he is becoming. Because when Bruce is Batman, he accepts it, and he helps Bruce. And the fact that he is now starting to help him is a perfect way to get this started. And when I seen this, I was actually clapping because this was such a good and awesome, and it was actually it was a very touching scene, and it was just really good. Now, we do get a meeting with Falcone and his men and Fish and this Russian. This Russian just wants to go in and take out Maroni, but Falcone's like, no, we need to do this smart. And Fish and this Russian guy get into it, and like it looks like they're getting ready to kill each other, but Falcone's like, please, come on, we're family here. They look at each other weird, and then that's it. So when they go to this dinner party, Bruce has to meet with this person who worked close with his dad, and he's like, I actually wanted to talk to the board members because I have found some stuff that is not right in Wayne Enterprises. And she's like, really? Well, I don't know where you got that from because everything's totally fine there. And you can tell that she's, by the way she's talking, you can tell she's lying. And then all of a sudden Stan comes in and plugs Venom into the vents. And so then Gordon's like, put your hand down, and he's like, look, basically, he's like, look, my mission is done. I don't have anything more to do. He injects him. Gordon tries to shoot him. I kind of missed this, but I think what he did was he accidentally hit the can of Venom, and he breathed it in, and instead of attacking Gordon, Bullet comes out with a gun, and he's like, you're not going anywhere, and he's like, I can go anywhere I want, and he drops, and he commits suicide. Before he dies, though, before he commits suicide, he's like, check out Warehouse 39. And the episode ends, there's something else that's honestly, this episode, the ending of this episode was just creepy. They go and check out Warehouse 39, and there's nothing there. And then we see the person that Bruce was talking with is talking on the phone with someone, and they're like, no, we shouldn't have to investigate anything. No, if it gets that bad, we'll take care of it. And I was just like, okay, so there is corruption in Wayne Enterprises. And we do see... Oh, I had it. Oh, that thing that Penguin talked about, how he knows the janitor and how we could get them in easily. Maroni's like, you're a little scared, I know. You should. Because if my men don't come out of here, I'm going to kill you. And the men come out, and Maroni's like, I know you're not just some dishwasher. You're a player. He's basically saying, I know what you are going to be. You're going to be great. You're going to be someone great. And he's right, because he takes hold of the freaking Iceberg Lounge in Arkham City, and he is one of the most ruthless, gun-owning, museum-owning, rich people in Gotham to this day in the comics. So, Penguin, rise to power. Now, we actually do get another good scene with Bullock and Gordon. When Gordon comes back to the police department, they're like, Bullock's like, where have you been? He was like, it was just some personal stuff. You disappear on a case and you're not going to tell me about it? He's like, that's why it's personal. And he asks him if it's Barbara. And once again, like how I said, you can kind of tell maybe Bullock is starting to care about Gordon. You know, like, because like people who work together, like cops, and when they have their partners, they build a trust. They build a friendship, pretty much. And I can kind of see that. Even though Gordon and Bullock do see differently, it does seem like they are actually starting to become a team. And actually, this is where they find out who taught Stan how to become a chemist. They found a picture of all his information. They found, because the company sent him all his information, and they found the picture. And we find out that the company was full of terrorist people, pretty much. They were bad people. And this is what I meant the episode was creepy. Now, I thought this was Bullock for a minute, but it actually wasn't. This guy is just feeding pigeons, and then we see Fish's assistant, her secret weapon. Her hair is no longer black, it's blonde, and she's listening to that music that Fish wants her to know. And so I was like, she's gonna kill him, she's gonna kill him, and all she does is invite him to sit on the step and listen to a tune that his mother used to sing to him. And I was just really creeped out. Oh, and something else? Fish was banging the Russian dude, and the Russian dude actually wants to take down Falcone. She's like, we need to have patience. And he's like, I have no more patience. He's got to die now. He's wanting to help Fish take down Falcone, which means something big is happening and something big is gonna happen. And I cannot wait until the next episode. I cannot wait to see how things are gonna progress in this series. I think it's gonna go far. Acting was great. how they're bringing everything together, and they're bringing other characters and other hints. It's just phenomenal. But guys, this has been another episode of Phenomenal Views, another discussion of Gotham Episode 5. Put in the comments below, what did you think about this episode? Did you think that the bonding between Alfred and Bruce was great? Do you think that how they're building him up, how he's starting to connect things is great? Put in guys, have a good night, comment below, and let me know.